Hello everybody, welcome back to New Zealand Mysteries. This is TJ. We're looking at some stories from around the world. Today in this episode we're looking at the mysterious disappearance of Friedrich Valentich from Australia, and we'll find out that there is some talk about some alien activity going on. But it's never been solved, and it's a mystery, and that's what we do, so let's get into it. So I found this article from planeandpilotmag.com, and of course everything, sources will be in the description box below, so if you want to go and have a better look, you can do that. So it says, mysteries of flight, alien abduction or pilot error. The disappearance off the coast of Australia of a low-time UFO-obsessed pilot 42 years ago remains just as much a mystery today. And this was written by Desiree Kokis and published November 23rd, 2020. Let's have a look. In 1978, low-time Aussie pilot Frederick Valentich, flying a rental Cessna 182, vanished after reporting an unidentified flying object circling above him. Could Valentich have fallen victim to a genuine alien abduction? I don't know how you guys feel about aliens and stuff like that, but, let's have a look. Background. It was October 21st, 1978, and the sun was setting into the Australian horizon. At 6:19 p.m, a young pilot named Frederick Valentich took off in a rented Cessna 182L from Moorabbin Airport in Victoria. He was en route to King Island, a 130 nautical mile journey over a body of water known as the Bass Strait. And let's have a quick look at the map. So very easy, bottom of Australia, Melbourne, and he was going from Moorabbin here to King Island here. And I do have a little information about King Island. Looking at Wikipedia, King Island is an island in the Bass Strait belonging to the Australian state of Tasmania. It is the largest of three islands known as the New Year Group, and the second largest island in Bass Strait. Excuse me, after Flinders Island. I need glasses. The island's population at the 2016 census was 1,585 people, up from 1,566 in 2011. Okay. The island forms part of the official land divide between the Great Australian Bight and Bass Strait off the northwestern tip of Tasmania and about halfway to the mainland state of Victoria. Doesn't really sound like a very interesting island, to be fair, but everyone has their own opinions. Let's keep going. The strait is famous for its difficult flying conditions, but on this night the skies were clear and the winds calm. Valentich was eager to make his destination, where friends waited for him, ready to dine on fresh seafood along the water's edge. Sadly, Valentich never made that dinner date, nor any thereafter. At 7:06 p.m, he called into air flight service, citing an unidentified flying object manoeuvring around him. Quote, "Seems to be a large aircraft below 5,000, just passed over me, at least 1,000 feet above." Unquote. Valentich was at 4,500 feet. Quote, "It's approaching right now from due east towards me. It seems to me that he's playing some sort of a game." Unquote. His transmission became odder from there. First he claimed the other aircraft was completely stationary. Next he claimed it was orbiting above him. He then reported a rough-sounding engine and the transmission was lost, ending at 7:12 p.m. with a loud metallic noise. Neither Valentich nor his aircraft were ever found. Interesting. He's actually, he was, I think he was 20 years old, I just said, and he looked like a fairly handsome fella, I'm sure they had colour photos by then, surely, but I don't know. Let's get into the theories. The UFO theory. To say Valentich was obsessed with UFOs would be putting it mildly. He wasn't just convinced of their existence, he also was convinced they would soon attack Earth. Some believe he got too close to the truth and was abducted. While it may seem a bit out of this world, eyewitnesses alleged that something else was out there the night of his disappearance. One individual claimed to see a strange green light in the sky, similar to one noted in Valentich's transmission. Quote, "It's got a green light and it's sort of metallic, like it's all shiny on the outside, it's just vanished," unquote. The following morning, a farmer in Cape Otway, an area along the edge of Valentich's flight path, observed a flying object hovering over his property. The object was approximately 30 metres across and it appeared to have a small airplane attached to its side. This is bonkers. According to the farmer, the attached aircraft was leaking oil. He so disturbed by what he saw that he etched the aircraft's tail number into one of his tractors so he wouldn't forget it. The number matched Valentich's Cessna. I don't know about you, but this is a crazy story, actually. Very interesting theories going on here. All right, let's look at the crash theory. Valentich was an eager young pilot with grand goals for his aviation career. Unfortunately, it didn't seem such a career would ever happen for him. He was rejected by the Australian Air Force not once, but twice. He had also recently failed his second attempt at passing the commercial flight exam. In his mere 150 flight hours, Valentich had been involved in 3 in-flight incidents. Once when he entered restricted airspace, and twice when he deliberately flew into clouds. He was under threat of prosecution for the latter. He sounds to like he wants to be Maverick and Top Gun, but I don't think Top Gun was made that early, though. Maybe he's the real Maverick. Flying over water into the setting sun can be disorientating for even the best of pilots. Never mind someone with Valentich's history. Instead of focusing on critical flight tasks, he instead deemed distracted by fanciful delusions of a UFO. While the 4 lights he observed above him could have belonged to another aircraft, it's more likely they were the lights of Mercury, Venus, Mars, and a bright star called Antares. I don't have a clue how to say that word. According to his transmission, Valentich began circling his aircraft at some point. In a bank, it's possible he fell victim to the titled horizon illusion. Becoming disorientated, he could have either entered a graveyard spiral or even become inverted. The green light he observed was likely his own being reflected off the water. That's not a bad point. Given the gravity-fed fuel system of a Cessna 182, his engine would have quickly been deprived of fuel, explaining why his transmission at the end sounded rough. Whew. Okay, so that is the crash theory, and we've had the UFO theory, so you should be thinking by now what you think is going on. Okay, I'm going to be interested in the comments below, because I want you guys to comment down below which theory you believe is the right one and what you think happened. So I'm interested to see what you guys think. Right, staged disappearance theory. The night Valentich disappeared, police received several reports of an unidentified aircraft landing on Cape Otway. Assuming Valentich followed the flight plan he filed, he would have been in the Cape's general vicinity at the time he began transmitting with air flight service. It is possible that Valentich, frustrated by his failing aviation career, fabricated the UFO sighting in order to stage his own disappearance. Not only would an abduction serve to validate his UFO conspiracies, but it would also give him a fresh start on an otherwise troubled life. Okay, I don't have much to say about that theory. Yeah, let's keep going. Okay, the truth with a very big question mark. For those on podcast, hello, and thank you for always watching or listening, I should say, to our shows. Valentich was not a victim of an alien abduction, but rather a victim of himself. The farmer's story, while riveting, didn't surface until 36 years after Valentich's disappearance. In fact, despite ufologists, sorry, that's the best you're going to get. Despite their best efforts, such a farmer has never been found. As for the eyewitness who claimed to have seen a green light in the sky that night, they didn't make their claim until the newspaper had already reported on Valentich, noting a green light in his transmission. Sadly, it would seem the aircraft observed over Cape Otway wasn't landing but instead crashing into surrounding waters. Valentich's obsession with UFOs had simply got the better of him. While his aircraft was never recovered, in 1983, an engine cowl flap washed ashore on Flinders Island. I don't know what that is. The Bureau of Air Safety Investigation concluded the part came from a Cessna 182 between a certain range of serial numbers, including that of one Valentich had been flying that fateful night. Oh, okay, guys. What do you think? Could it be a UFO? Could it be he started a new life? Or could it be that he just was so obsessed with UFOs and everything, he just crashed? I don't know. We'll look at just one other thing. Quickly, before we go on, just nzmissing@gmail.com if you want to suggest any cases. You can always visit our website, nzmissing.wordpress.com, and we have podcasts most places you listen to your podcasts. I want to thank Sherry and Selena. Both of them went to buymeacoffee.com/NZ Mysteries and shouted me a cup of coffee, and that's $3, and that really helps go towards equipment and all the other things that go along with this. Please, if you like the video, give it a like and a thumbs up, and please subscribe. These three things, this and this and this, are really, really good for my channel. It helps my channel out immensely, and I really appreciate the subs that keep coming back, and I appreciate new people giving me a chance. So thank you very much. Let's keep going. So this is monumentaustralia.org.au, and the link obviously will be in the description box below. So they've actually got a little bit of a blurb here about the what is it? Plaque. I can't even think English at the moment. Let's have a wee quick read of what they say. The plaque commemorates the landmark of the disappearance of Friedrich Valentich. On the evening of October 21, 1978, a 20-year-old Australian pilot, Frederick Valentich, disappeared over Bass Strait while flying from Melbourne's Moorabbin Airport to King Island. His plane was a single-engine Cessna 182. The plane had been refueled to capacity enough for 5 hours flying time. At 18-19 hours, which is 20 past 6, local time, after he had obtained a meteorological briefing, he took a Cessna 182 plane and set off. After the takeoff, Valentich established radio contact with Melbourne Flight Service. At 1900 hours, which is 7 p.m. local time, Valentich radioed that he had Cape Otway in sight. According to the weather station, the weather in the Cape Otway area was clear, excellent visibility and light winds. The pilot contacted the Melbourne flight station and reported an unidentified flying object, and he said it was following him. One of the last things Friedrich reported before he was interrupted by a strange, unidentified sound at 1912 hours, which is 7:15, was, Melbourne, that strange craft is hovering on top of me again. It's hovering and it's not an aircraft. Cape Otway was the last place Friedrich and his hired Cessna 182 was seen before he vanished, never to be heard from again. Despite an extensive search, no wreckage was found, but we know that the cowl flap was found. Okay, so this is just the inscription that they've put on it. The plaque commemorates the landmark of the mysterious disappearance of Frederick Valentich. Friedrich was flying Cessna 182L. At this point, he changed direction to south from the lighthouse towards the sea. 12 minutes from flying south from here, his radio transmission was cut off, and his last radio contact, he explained, quote, "That strange aircraft is hovering on top of me again, and it's not an aircraft," unquote. After an extensive land and sea search, no trace was ever found of the Cessna or Friedrich, and to this day, his disappearance remains a mystery. So, this page looks like it does good work, and they're asking for donations, and in the future, when I have enough people that support me and support the channel, then I will love to be able to give to people and give donations to help places out on behalf of everybody at New Zealand Mysteries. So what do you think, guys? Do you think it was a UFO? Do you think he tried to start a new life? Do you think because he was so obsessed with UFOs that clouded his judgment, and he just, like, I don't know, was he on drugs? Was he like hallucinating about UFOs? There was a couple of witnesses, and then they say, oh no, we couldn't find the witnesses. So I don't know. Everything you need to know is going to be in this description box below. It'll have links to the sources that I've used. It will have ways to get in contact, ways to donate to the channel. There's a PayPal link down there, and everything else you need to know. Thank you so much for being with me in this one. I will see you next time. Thanks, guys.